Hey, we are here for our second episode of season 2 of Tabletop Throwdown with your host, Michael Dunn. He probably doesn't like it when I call him Michael.
Yeah,
and me.
It's like my parents talking to me or something. It's
Michael, why did you bring that bad man on your show? I don't understand you.
Yeah, we're back. It is another great day up here in Colorado. We are excited about a lot of things coming up. And honestly, we're excited about what we just did. Sean, I don't know about you, but I had an excellent GAMA Expo this year. I saw a lot of good stuff, did a lot of panels, and really just had one of the most successful weeks that I've had at the show. I don't know about you.
You know, Mike, it was wild. It was a crazy show. It was like a blur. So many people, so many cool things that went down. And honestly, the seminar I didn't make it to, but learned the most from, was one of your seminars about working in an industry full of friends and keeping it professional. Because
it's like I was reading your mind or something, isn't it?
it was amazing. And so for me to join you on the show was so exciting. It was like just one of those awesome moments, right? That first episode energy, capturing everything that we've been talking about for months. And it was so awesome to just dive in. And the fact that it aired while we were at GAMA, and my mom told me to change my camera because she doesn't like seeing this side of my face. She wants to see this, was just the best possible feedback I could ever have from a first episode. Nobody said, wow, you look stupid. You say too many times. I didn't get any of that. It was awesome. How about you, Mike? How about you?
So yeah, no, actually it's kind of funny because the episode actually dropped the day that we did that panel. So it was like, boom, I meant to do that.
Yeah.
So no, it was really good. My wife liked it. And I actually watched the episode. Like I did all the post-production on it. And, I watched the episode basically to edit it and make sure that it wasn't horrible. I almost got there. There were a few stretches of me like kind of like looking down at something. Gonna do something about that. But yeah, no, it was actually really good. Like I would go so far as to say that it's one of my favorite podcast episodes that I've recorded. It was really, we had a really good conversation about 2025 and how like shitty it was for the tabletop industry. And I hope we maybe educated a few people and had a few folks that were very like, yeah, I feel seen now. I feel seen. This is what I had to go through. So yeah, I really enjoyed the episode, and I think it worked. So let's keep on doing it.
You know, Mike, honestly, I couldn't agree more. And after being at GAMA for a week, a lot of friends, people industry we've known for a long time, there was just some really weird and cool, exciting stuff happening. And I've not been on that side of the table, if you will, right? I've always been on the other side of the booths at the shows, right? I'm always exhibiting. And this time I was walking around, with you and GamingTrend kind of a thing. And as an attendee, honestly, and I love GAMA to death, so this is not a slam. Please don't anybody think this way. I waited outside for the hall to open because I for the first time in 21 years, I didn't have a early access badge. Like I didn't have an exhibitor badge or a reason to get in early. And it was great. I got to go get coffee. I got to sleep in. I didn't have to wait for it was awesome. It just opened at noon and I just was able to walk in. And I was like, wow, we treat the other side way nicer than we do the publisher side. This is pretty sweet. These GamingTrend, press credentials, man. I'm digging this.
So yeah, for our viewers that don't know what GAMA Expo is, let's take a step back and kind of introduce the concept for y'all. So GAMA Expo is the annual trade show for the Tabletop Gaming Association. Used to be called the Game Manufacturers Association, but it's not just manufacturers and retailers anymore. It's all of us. We've got media, we've got creators, we've got publishers. It is definitely a very inclusive organization and is trying to be more and more representative of the industry as a whole. And we've been proud card-carrying members of GAMA for, I guess this will be our 5th year.
Wow.
And GAMA has been great for us in a lot of ways. Now, this is not a show that someone can just walk in off the street and buy a badge to. Like I said, this is a trade show, and therefore it is more kind of a business-to-business networking. There's a lot of seminars and knowledge sharing. And actually, I would say probably that is the biggest differentiator, is that knowledge sharing, those seminars. I had the pleasure and the foolishness to do 4 panels this year, and they all went really well.
Sometimes I forget them. I've been around so long that back when I was younger, kids, there were only publishers and manufacturers,
Back
right?
in my day.
So like, we're in this whole new post-pandemic world. The last 5 years of GAMA, the organization's changed and it's grown, and there's been retail and media. And honestly, the seminars and bringing that side of how to do these things, right? We're a small industry. We've always been a cottage industry, and a lot of cavemen like me don't know how to speak to the public without sounding like a jerkwad. Hanging out with Mike is like the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, because he keeps me, sane and grounded and honest, and it's fun.
Butter by the pound, huh? These days, like, you're just buttering me up like a basted turkey.
Well, I'd never do that. You're much more of like a ham than a turkey. Either way.
I'll give you that. So yeah, I did 4 panels this year. I'm just going to go over them briefly, and I think I'm going to end up back on the one that Sean mentioned earlier. But some of them were interesting, like the benefits and pitfalls of covering crowdfunding. And my guests on that were Edward Doty and Stacy Klein. Stacy is a podcaster. I might actually be appearing on her podcast soon. I will put the details of that in the description below. Edward he's done a lot of things. Do you know Edward, Sean?
I don't.
Well, he's a super nice guy, had a lot of great opinions on that. And honestly, like, the whole point of it is, like, covering crowdfunding is something that we've struggled with at GamingTrend for years, just because, there's a lot of different things. I would say, like, the biggest one for me is it infuriates me when I see a review on a crowdfunding page and I'm like, review, does that mean the game's out? No, it's not. They're just calling it a review because that's what the YouTube algorithm likes. That's what gets the most clicks. Like, I get it, but it's a preview. And a lot of times they even say at the beginning that it is actually a preview. And it just kind of underscores, like, we can't even agree on the same terminology sometimes, right? So yeah, like, but there's also huge benefits, right? You get a lot of eyeballs on your work. You can help make someone's dreams of making a game come true, right? Now, I will say this, just as a little tease, we might be talking a lot more about crowdfunding in some future episodes. We got some plans. We're doing a little cooking.
We got some cool guests lined up, right? And
exactly.
And we kind of, like Mike had said before, him and I lose hours when we go talking games. It doesn't matter if we're on the road. It doesn't matter if we're in museums. This guy and I live and breathe games entertainment. And, you start talking and you start finding who's out there. And in pretty short order, we go, this would be kind of cool. Mike's panels really help kind of educate on the B2B side. But, if we can be a bridge too from that side and kind of, share with some of you guys that might be thinking about making your own first game or foolishly deciding to go into publishing or something crazy like that, make a book or whatever. Don't get me wrong. Follow your dreams. Please do it. But please avoid those pitfalls. And when you see a panel where Mike can bring some industry experts on that it can tell you, hey, don't give free shipping. Please, no matter how hard they beg you, don't give them free shipping because it's not free and you will lose your ass.
See, you would have been perfect for this panel. You would have been perfect.
Well, no, but we have the voice right here, right? With the Throwdown season 2 is so much different than season 1 because we can bring people in. We can talk to guests like this. We can talk about these shows we go to in these panels and, you know,
and these different perspectives. Yeah,
absolutely.
no, I agree. So then the next panel that I did was actually a sequel to a panel I did last year. And this is a topic that I imagine we'll probably dig into at some point, but it's a question of trust. And last year, the panel was about how to establish and maintain trust between media and publishers, media and designers, media and our audience, right? Trust is our most powerful currency as media people. And if you don't trust us, you're not going to watch us. You're not going to listen to what we have to say, and you're not going to be entertained unless you like to laugh at people who are falling flat on their face, which is these days a viable form of entertainment, and I would totally understand. That said, this particular sequel to the panel is I wanted to kind of hit it head on, and that is what if tabletop media had a code of ethics? Again, don't want to dive too deep into this right now. I think we could do a whole episode. Hell, I think we could do a whole series of episodes just on the concept of ethics in media. So, we're just going to put a pin in that. It was an excellent panel. Had a lot of great conversation. We had Stacy Klein and back for that one. Jason, I'm gonna have horrible. Jason Hassie. He's on the more on the publisher side, and then I had the wonderful Mo Tuzignant, who he runs Tabletop Bellhop. He's a fellow media folk, and he is also a member of my committee that I co-chair with Drew Worley, which is Tabletop Media Best Practices. So you're going to hear Mo's name again soon because Mo is a good guy, and we're going to do a lot of work with him. We we had a great time at GAMA. We hung out a lot, talked about music and comics and all kinds of fun stuff, not just games. And of course, had a lovely time with his lovely wife, Deanna, as well. So yeah, we'll put a pin in that as well, because I definitely want to introduce my viewership to those folks, and we're going to make that happen.
Well, so
probably have a link in this week's newsletter to them, or I guess it'll be last week's newsletter to those watching this today. But check out our newsletter; it'll be the most recent one.
Funny side note, I had read something Jeffrey Eggleston had posted the other day on his Facebook wall. I was just scrolling along and I happened to see it, and it was the supply chain, and it said game designer, least amount of information. So I think that's very poignant to what we were just talking. And
nice.
I thought it was hilarious because several game designers that I know were all commenting going, ain't that the truth? And so having this open relationship with media for me is kind of foreign, but it's super cool. And I really applaud you and all the guys out there that you guys always keep it professional and you always keep it, hey, this is to the game. And if we're out having some fun somewhere else, we're talking, just the things. And it's appreciated for sure.
Yeah, we're all nerds here, man. We're all nerds.
Well, just get excited, right?
We're not doing this to get rich,
Hey, that's definitely the case for some of us.
Right. So then my next panel was actually I did this one by myself, filming compelling game demos at conventions. If you check out our YouTube channel and look in our tabletop section, you'll see a lot of videos that we have filmed demos at like Origins and Gen Con and PAX Unplugged. In fact, I'm going to be pushing out a few more of our videos from our PAX Unplugged coverage very soon, because I generally like to wait until after the holidays are over to post some of that, because it's most of the time it's talking about stuff that's coming out this year. So it's going to be a little more timely. But yeah, I basically went through our journey from big heavy cameras that we're lugging around and breaking. Yes, I think we broke at least one lens, if not two at this time. Lenses are not cheap, folks, to the current rig that we have set up, which is literally 2 iPhones and a couple of monopods and microphones, and it is so much better than what we had, and the quality is not quite as good as like the big bulky Blackmagic cameras that we used to use, but it is very, very close, and YouTube doesn't care because it would just squash that into what it wants to do anyway. Yeah, no, had a lot of positive feedback about that. I've actually had some people email me since then telling me how much they appreciated that panel. And yeah, I might do that again because I think it was pretty cool. You've seen how we do demos, Sean. Like, I don't think anybody else is doing that, right?
No, and just in general, I always thought your guys' coverage when you were at shows of having like the overhead cameras to get a down shot and you're interviewing people and just taking a quick look at their stuff. I've always thought it was super cool, right? But the downside, of course, for you guys as a channel is, you had to rent a trade show booth to be there. And what I like about where a lot of the conventions are going is they're starting to recognize that media shouldn't be in a booth hidden in the corner of a really loud hall. They should be in a little breakout room or a side outside the halls. And I think there's a lot of room for you guys to really kind of capture some more of that at some of the bigger events. And I just think it's cool that GamingTrend's growing again.
Indeed. Now, I do have to correct you. The booth was intentional. Like we did that on purpose. What I was showing off at the panel was our mobile run and gun setup, right? Yeah, yeah.
If I would have made the panel, then I would
see if you would have showed up, man. Like, but no, we did do a booth one year at GAMA Expo, I guess about 3 years ago, and then the following year at Origins, and that was like I don't know if I'll ever do that again. If I'm being honest, but it was huge. Like basically I filmed so much content over 3 days at Origins at our booth that like basically like it was like an experience point multiplier. I was very much in the throes of imposter syndrome on Thursday or Friday, and then by Sunday I was like, I can do anything. Like, put me in front of a camera. Next, let's do this. Like, and yeah, so ever since then, it's I don't know. It's just been. I think it's just that repetition, that getting it done over and over again, and it was fun doing that. But we also ended up with so much coverage out of that we bottlenecked on the production side of things. So.
Well, and the magic of a show, for anybody that's ever been on the fence about if you want to go to a show, the magic of going to a show is that it's infectious. You see all these great creatives and these people that are just working to do all these cool things. And it takes you from going, oh gosh, should I have been here, to literally by the end, you're going, I belong here. These are my people. This place inspires me, and you're ready to go. And, speaking of inspiring, I think Mike should tell us more about that run and gun camera. We call that a segue in the business, I think.
Yes. So yeah, basically we use 2 cameras. They're both iPhones now. One, they have to be iPhones that have the USB-C connection. We have one iPhone Pro Max. I think it's a 17 or an 18. I'm not sure. I'm not really concerned with the number. I'm concerned with the USB-C connection because it's so vital. Because basically what we can do is we can plug in a hub into that iPhone and then use an external SSD to record onto and external lav mic antenna. And then we even have it so that we can set it up. If we need a more general audio setup, we have like a directional mic that we can easily switch to. It's all very self-contained. You can just stand it up on your monopod and plug it in to charge everything up. You can even use MagSafe batteries. But I think the secret sauce is I did a lot of searching for a compact monopod / tripod / I guess selfie stick, because it's MagSafe on the connection, that could go really tall and point down and look at like what's happening on the table. Because when we first started shooting at them, we had one camera, and basically one person was just kind of going back and forth, and it just wasn't very compelling content. We can do really compelling content with this 2 camera setup, and we've gotten it down to a science so that like it's easy to carry around, it's easy to set up, and it's easy to immediately start editing the video just by unplugging that SSD and plugging it into your laptop or your workstation. And yeah, we're using the Blackmagic app so that because we use Resolve, DaVinci Resolve as our primary video editing tool. And everything just works really well together. We're really proud of it, and I really have to thank that guy at PAX Unplugged 2 years ago that saw us with our big heavy rigs and was like, you know what, that's a nice camera. I have one of those. I stopped bringing it. I got this now, and I'm like, I got to look into that.
And the seas parted.
It was really, I mean, it was just, and my team like that was carrying the big heavy cameras around. They were like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Yeah, because they were basically like pack mules at Gen Con. I felt bad.
Well, so I'll try to convince Mike and Post to put, like when you're at a hockey game and they light the lamp, with the little red light. We should put that right before you started talking about the specs, and then we could do a little scroll nerd alert because Mike's going to go real deep on tech specs. And if you gloss over, hey, don't worry about it. Well, we love you anyway, regardless of what camera you shoot us on, Mike.
I will throw some pictures in because I did make a slide deck of it, so I'll throw some of it in.
We need visuals. Because if the visual is me listening to you talk about that, it's going to be like this.
Right. The problem is I'm worried about having a nerd alert visual because that could literally be the entire show, right? Like, I mean, if it's like meant to call out a specific thing, like it becomes meaningless if it's through the whole episode, right?
That's fair.
We'll work on it. Like, we could probably change the name of the podcast to Nerd Alert, right? Like, and nobody would blink. Yeah, spinoff. And so, let's come back around to the panel that Sean started this discussion with, which is how to keep things professional in industry full of friends.
And I'd like to say that I missed that panel by 20 minutes because I was in a car talking to friends about work.
Yeah, he would have been our special secret fifth panelist too, but yeah, he slacked and didn't make it. Right?
I'm sorry.
No, it actually went really well. It was capacity, which has never happened with me. I've never had a capacity panel.
It's awesome.
We had I consider them friends, Ross Thompson and Ammon Anderson. Ross, of course, he's worked at a ton of places, most recently at Atomic Mass Games, and he is currently one of the Media and Events board members for our member group. Ammon Anderson, of course, is the designer of Gnome Hollow, and we've had him on this podcast. He introduced his game Space Potato for the first time to the world on Tabletop Throwdown about a year and a half ago, and that is actually, I think, coming right along. I did see a box. I didn't see a more recent production copy. Well, but Ammon is great. Ammon is great.
Shout out to
Love
GAMA,
Ammon.
though, honestly, because they switched to an app this year and made seminars. They made you register for them. And there you go. That's how you get your sold out panel, because people know, hey, there's only so many seats. And everybody always says they want to go to the panels. Well, hey, actually register for the ones you want to go to so we can gauge the interest and make sure people like Mike get to keep coming back and running these awesome things for you. So big props to them for that app. That app was mega helpful just in time for the move to Baltimore, which, trust me, anybody that goes, you're going to need it because I don't know the hell away my way around Baltimore, but we'll find out next year, right?
Yep. And then our last panelist was Gabby Swab, who's more on the academic side of things. She actually co-founded the Association of Gaming Academics and promotes the use of gaming as experiential learning in higher education. And it was just a great panel, a group of panelists. It was a great audience. We had a lot of awesome conversation. But the thing that I loved most about it is that it basically just turned into a big love fest. Like, Like literally, we ended the panel was like, all right, everybody look around and make a new friend because this is how this works, and let's go out and be good to each other. And it was a great way to kind of kick off the second half of the expo with just like this really, really positive vibe.
Yeah, I mean, this year for sure, the love was felt a lot
Yes.
more than other years. And it was actually pretty cool, right, to hear from some of the guys that have been around the industry, and there's a changing, right?
Right.
5, 10 years ago, we didn't have as much female attendees or as many ethnic attendees. It's interesting. Like I grew up in a small town in Pueblo where I was a minority, so I grew up around diverse cultures and melting pots. And the game industry hasn't been that, up until mostly recently. And the bringing in of the retail and the media and all that has really helped. But as with any melting pool, right? You throw a bunch of people in together and we all have the right hearts and the right meanings and the right passion. But sometimes, there can be little disagreements. So I think these ethic panels you're doing and all these ways that we can work together are just really nice. They're really nice speed bumps, so to speak, so that we don't get so excited that we just run over each other and not even
Right.
realize it. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
I really appreciate what you guys do for this. And honestly, like, I was thinking about whether I was going to tell this story or not, but I think it's very fitting. I was walking down one of the halls at Gamma or something, and I had seen somebody that I was meaning to catch up with, and I was just late. So I'm running for her appointment, and we'll leave her name anonymous. But she said, "Stop, please. I got to talk to you." And I said, "Oh, I'll catch you. I promise." And she said, "No." And she grabbed me by my backpack straps mid-stride and pulled me, stopped me, and turned me and said, "I only need 1 minute of your time." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And that was the president of Gamma. And I'm sorry. So I'm publicly apologizing to Nicole for calling you out on the podcast. Not really calling you out, but saying you're an incredibly busy person, as were that entire board. And, you guys ran an awesome show. So thanks for having us. Thanks for putting up with people like me. Thanks for giving people like Mike access. And, seminars are important. Learning is important. And
Yeah.
we can all do better. We can all be better. So thanks for helping me be better.
So yeah, just to give a little background on that, Nicole Brady is not only the media member on the board for the Media and Events Group, but she is also the first female president of GAMA X, and she has been for, I guess, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. I gotta say, like, GAMA really has transformed quite a bit under her leadership. I appreciate a lot of like what she's done in terms of last year Gamma actually acted like a proper trade organization, and they went and lobbied in Washington over the tariff issue, like on behalf of all of us. Obviously, a few other folks like Jason Matthews and people who do work in DC kind of help facilitate that, but Gamma really stepped up, and I think again, yeah, I agree. Like Gamma Expo this year, it was hands down the best it's been, and a lot of that is largely due to the hard work of Nicole Brady as president, the board in general, and especially the people that are actually employed by Gamma itself, right? The people that work they aren't volunteering on the board. They're actually, that's their job. This is what they do.
No doubt. And they work hard. They're good people.
Big ups, especially to David Abelson, who's an awesome game designer in his own right. I believe he did the game Gartenbau for 25th Century Games a few years ago. That's the one I can remember off the top of my head. He's done a few others you've probably heard of, but he is their new education. He basically helped organize all the panels.
Nice.
And what this translated into for me was me like not answering his emails for about 3 months because I was still finalizing my panelists, and I was prepared to just like, kneel and take the sword. Like when I saw him this week, but he was like, it's not a big deal. Like you weren't the only one to do that. And We had a great talk. We're actually going to hopefully cover the next game that he's going to kickstart. It is, I believe, about street art, which I think is an awesome theme, and I can't wait to see it. I wish I could have seen it at GAMA Expo, and I was going to, but we didn't make it to his booth in time. So we're going to try to make that happen. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, the GAMA team, all of the full timers, like, did a fantastic job.
Well, and I'm just throwing it out there because I heard this is what we do on Throwdown. I'm just Nicole, if you want to come on and defend your side that you did not stop me by backpack straps, you're welcome on the show at any time. We would love to talk GAMA with you and anything about the great things you guys have been doing. I'm, of course, incredibly thankful for you over the tariffs. It's a huge issue that's been near and dear to my heart and something that I've been working on, behind the scenes and for a lot of different companies through the end of 25 and 26. And having people who are on our side and have our back for that kind of stuff is really important. And your friendship means the world to me, Nicole. And I would love to have you on and talk to you sometime.
Likewise. I know she doesn't like getting in front of a camera, but
Nope. But we'll get her there.
We'll make it happen. That was for you, Nicole.
Oh, this is the best. Can you imagine? Could you imagine if you were watching or listening to something and somebody called you out like that in the middle of a podcast, and then you'd be like, "Those sons of bitches! I gotta call and get on it." Because now right? Like at some point, we made the legend too big, right? So it's like Bigfoot, and it'll be great.
And I'd be remiss to not mention Nicole's trophy husband.
Yeah, the big famous game designer, second
Scott Brady, right? Scott Brady, of course, is designer of Boop and Hughes and Q's, and a co-designer of one of my family's favorite games, Caution Signs. Have you played that, Sean?
Yeah, it was really good. Didn't Danielle do some work with them on that one?
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a really fun way to make a game for people who maybe don't want a game, but really want to be involved in hanging out with people that game. What a cool gateway.
Yeah, no, it's a collaboration. It's a great game. And I hear they have another one coming down the pipe. So very excited about that. It is a favorite in our house. But Scott, shout out to you too. And hopefully I don't get DM'd after this airs from them.
Well,
but I feel like much love.
I feel like this is our call out episode, right? And we might as well just call everybody out from GAMA. So there were several people, right? So my buddy Nick showed us a little bit about new RPG coming out and a whole line of accessories we can talk about.
But actually, let's talk about that real quick.
I mean, but I'm just saying, between calling him out and some of our friends that do previews, we started the top of the hour with previews. There's also crowdfunding. There's 3 people I've got in mind that I think we could have as guests here, in addition with Nicole or Scott. Maybe we do them as a tandem. We bring them both on, huh?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. No, so, I mean, I think our biggest problem at this point is figuring out who to actually reach out to, and the fact that we're only doing this every other week, because we could literally fill probably every week with a new guest.
Easy.
Through the rest of the year. Easy.
And we want all of them. So email Mike Dunn at GamingTrend.com. Did I get your email?
No, actually, no, that's not right.
Don't do that.
Tabletopthrowdown at GamingTrend.com. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes.
And we'll put that at the bottom here because Mike does those fancy things in production that cavemen like me can't do. But seriously, email if you want to be on, and we will be happy to get you on the show and on the schedule and talk about your cool things.
I mean, heck, if email us some names of people you'd like to see on the show. Chances are we could probably make it happen.
Let's get crazy.
Yeah. So let's talk about what Nick showed us. Actually, I think let's go right into that, because this was something that has been on the periphery, and I've been kind of like, all right, what is this? I keep on hearing about it. Should I look into it? It's a big IP that is just now getting some love in the game world. And Sean, I'll let you go. You're the one that was like, we got to do this. Let's tell us about it.
So the number one thing I wanted to do, and it was just total dumb luck that one of my dearest friends in this industry happens to work at Renegade. Some people would say that that's like, what do they call it, insider trading or some crap. I would just say that that's one of my dear friends that I've been buying Star Wars cards from on Whatnot for years.
We got no money on this. There's no money changing hands here.
But what was awesome is I met Nick 23 years ago. He used to work at Fun Again. I used to sell him board games there. I've known him forever. He's a great dude. I've traveled with him all over the world. We've solved crime together in a Greek subway. I mean, there's been some wild adventures. So I'm telling you, he's going to be a perfect guest, and we're going to call him out just like we called out Scott and Nicole. And he's going to have to come on here and tell us about this huge IP, which I am completely brand new to. And in my little bit of diving in, I'm obsessed, and I got the audiobooks and I'm starting the adventure. This is Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you guys haven't checked this out in some capacity, you need to, because wow, just everything about it screams you're going to want to enjoy this ride. I'm not going to spoil anything from any of the stuff or the books. I'm just going to say what we saw at the booth from Renegade is that they were going to do an accessory line, some miniatures, and a role-playing game, but in a very Dungeon Carl kind of way, where they're going to kind of introduce you to the idea of a game, because maybe you don't know what that is. And a lot of Dungeon Crawler Carl fans maybe don't, they read the book or they heard the audio, but they don't know our world of games. The Renegade people are going to be the perfect bridge for this. And this is going to be a mega license. Like, you guys won't be able to avoid it. Hell, the Colorado Avalanche are doing a game on April 10th where you will get an Avalanche hat. I'm going, and it will have Princess Donut around the Avalanche logo. What? I will be there, and we will talk about it in April. I promise you, it's going to be fantastic.
Okay, so I didn't know what Dungeon Crawler Carl was before last week either. But like I said, it had been kind of in the corner of my eye for a while now, and I was like, okay. Dungeon Crawler Carl, for those of you who don't know, is a popular, they call it a lit RPG, a literary role-playing game, science fantasy book series by Matt Denneman about a man, Carl, and his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, who are forced to compete in a deadly intergalactic reality game show after the Earth is destroyed. So it's like one of those like perfect kind of blender of like all these different things that people love. It is just one of those things, like, it just feels like someone should have come up with this years ago, right? At Nick's suggestion, on our drive home from GAMA Expo, we actually listened to the first, I guess, 6 chapters of the audiobook. And I thought I was dealing with maybe like a young adult novel series or like, something more along the lines of like a Harry Potter or Percy Jackson kind of situation. No, that's not true at all. It is definitely more adult than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the best way I could put it is that it is really designed and written for adult children like us. we listened to the audiobooks on the ride home from Gamma. Basically, I had already threatened the people that I was riding with that we were going to do this. I was like, you know what? I got to find out what this is about. Nick sold the audiobook really well to me because I'm much more of like I want to read, but you can't do that and drive at the same time. So, I thought maybe I'd avoid that. But if I listen to something, I like it to be more like a radio play, right? Like one of my standbys years ago on road trips was listening to the Sandman audiobooks on Audible. They were so well done. And then even going back to the old Star Wars radio plays.
Yeah.
Like that was
the Heir to the Empire books where Anthony Daniels narrated them like C3.
Oh, I had to put that on my list.
What is happening when I hear that?
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
Henry
I've read
Rollins.
those books. Oh, Henry Rollins?
Henry Rollins? He did World War Z, and it's amazing. This is why I do audiobooks. That's my jam. I read like an idiot from Pueblo, so I listen to audiobooks. So thanks for the hot tip, Nick, because seriously, listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl for me is a lot more entertaining than reading it, but that's just me because I'm an idiot.
At the risk of wandering too far off the path, have you ever seen Henry Rollins speak live? Like
I have.
it is like just like gripping the armrest, wrapped with attention. Like he does such a great job of telling his tales. I could listen to him all day. Anyway,
I got to meet
I
him.
digress.
I got to meet him in the 90s once, and I got that moment where you get to shake his hand and you get to ask him, the one thing. And I asked him my one thing, which I was convinced if I ever get to meet a celebrity, this will be the greatest question. And I asked him, and he just looked at me and he goes, I don't know. That was like my whole
Perfect.
world, my whole meeting. And my question was, I'm a huge punk rock fan. So I'd said, really, that was the end of Black Flag? Because the phone nobody ever just called you again? So you guys just never played or jammed again? And he went, yeah, I mean, I don't know. But he legitimately, the band ended because they came back from a tour and were wiped out from being on the road, and nobody ever called him again. That was it. That was the end.
Well, I mean, it wasn't all bad because we did get Rollins Band, which was awesome. So,
I mean, and I got to see him on Spoken Word Tour, which I would have never had that not happened. So Thanks, Henry, for being a badass 30 years ago, I guess, already when I met him. I'm old.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah. Back to Dungeon Crawler Carl. Yes, audiobooks. So yeah, they were showing off the RPG, the cover art for the Unstoppable game, and some miniatures. I will actually I'll put some pictures up on screen from that we took at the show. But yeah, I think definitely the TTRPG is going to further bring people into the game, like into the gaming world, I should say. Like, this is definitely
wait till you get the dice for Carl that have hearts on them like his boxers. I mean, talk about the attention to detail that some of these guys are putting into these IPs and licenses. That is just pure brilliance to make your die a tidy-whitey die with hearts for pips. Kudos, Renegade, kudos.
Totally. Now, I've never played an Unstoppable game, and maybe some people will ridicule me for that. I know at least two people on staff that constantly ridicule me for the games that I haven't played. It's fair. I had like a dark period where I didn't play any games. Like, I was busy like working and raising my kids and stuff.
Me too. I published during that time.
Yeah. So what about you, Sean? Have you played Unstoppable?
I haven't played Unstoppable, but I have played one of John's other games where I grossly offended him at the same time. So that's always awesome. I got that going for me. If you haven't played his games, they're always very, very clever in how they're like engine type things where you can do something, and if you have another card or another ability, they can chain off of each other. So you get these nice rewarding turns every couple of turns where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, and that's going to let me do this. And then I get to do this. And then you're like, mic drop. That's what I like about his design style. And the game I'm specifically talking about where I offended him was Space Base. And John, I'm sorry, come on the show sometime and we can talk about it, because seriously, don't be one of those guys, okay? And I'm gonna use.
What did you do, Sean?
So you know how like we all as gamers are like, hey, there's certain games that you'll only play with 4 players, right? Like, yeah, and it says it'll play to 6 on the box, but you're just like, if you want to be punched in the face, you'll play it with 6 because it'll take an extra hour and a half to play.
Yeah.
Imagine that game you love plays brilliantly at 4, but at 5 it's a slog. Now imagine that game is at a table and 3 of your friends are there and they invite you to play, and you say, heck yeah, I'm in, I'm just going to go get some water. And you come back and they've picked up a 5th, and so you politely bow out, right? Because the game's better at 4 than 5. And the guy says, no problem, actually we're going to play the new expansion which goes to 6. And the new guy you don't know because you never met him, and you say, hey, new guy, that sounds like a great plan, but I'm going to bow out because the only thing that sounds worse to me than playing Space Base with 5 is playing Space Base with 6. And like a total boss. He just threw his hand out and goes, John DeClaire, nice to meet you. And I'm like, shit, I am so sorry. And then I was like, but I'd love to see if your expansion for 6 could fix the problems
Right.
that I hate at 5.
Yeah.
And it
Did
did,
it?
and I did, and I learned something that day, and it was really cool. So thanks, John, for opening my eyes to cool game systems.
Was it one to grow on back in the day? I need to find that and put it in here. One to grow on.
Hi, I'm Jason Bateman, and I'll be right back with One to Grow On.
It reminded me of a friend of mine. She's got this really awesome game club in Denver, and she was posting a thread that came up, and this kind of goes hand in hand, and why I wanted to touch on it. And I'm not trying to be the rules police here or whatever, but somebody posted a picture of their game collection. Like we all got our Calixes and whatever, and we keep our near and dear and true
Oh
things.
no, where'd my games go? No. Oh no, they're in the other room.
And the guy had posted his picture and he said, hey, I'm new to games last 3 years and I'm really excited. And here's what I got, right? And he was excited to share. And the whole thread turned into people going, Monopoly on your ship. Get that crap out of here. And it got me thinking like, hey man, we need gateways. We all started somewhere. And Monopoly is the best selling game in the world. So we can all hate it, but it brings new people into the hobby every year.
See, like, all right, I hate Monopoly.
I know.
Full disclosure, but I agree. I think just, taking a big old dump on someone because they have Monopoly, like, I might like snicker to myself a little bit, but if I were to say something, I'd be like, I'm happy to see you branching out, right?
Hey,
like
we all did this with Catan, right? I mean,
yeah.
There's a lot of people that are just, Catan, Ticket to Ride. Those are old. That's old gamer. And I go, those are gateway gamers. Those are people have
100%.
never seen these things, right? And 1995, when I got Settlers of Catan, it was life-changing. Like, I mean, we didn't have games like that.
Right. And I mean, this is also a hobby that has been known for years for its gatekeeping tendencies, right? Like, we don't need that, right? Like, I think it's if it's all in good fun, giving someone a little ribbon for their like what games they have on the shelf, that's fine. But you don't have to be mean, right?
Absolutely. We all started somewhere, right? We all. Today I put in my little thing 83 because I have fond memories of role playing in 83. And actually, you were at Genghis. I always say Genghis Khan. I mean Genghis Khan, not Gen Con. See, I already do it, but you were just recently there, and they do a little more role playing than I do, and it's so cool, and I love that. But being a board game publisher for so many years, I stopped role playing, so I want to get back into it, and I'm excited.
We'll make that happen.
The opportunity of learning it via Dungeon Carl again, because I've been out of role playing for so long, but it's such a fun thing. And the other symbolic part of 83 tonight was for those of you sports fans, I'm going to go see the Nuggets tonight to see the real champion of the universe in Nikola Jokic, but whatever, debate me, fight me. He's better than Jordan. Ooh, I said it.
What's
Bam
the
Adebayo
sports ball stuff we're talking about here.
Hey, but we have to for a second because Bam Adebayo scored 83 points in an NBA game, a modern NBA game last night. So if you missed that because you're a gamer or whatever, and you don't watch sports ball, but you're listening to this as a gamer, respect that game because 83 points.
Oh, you posted about this last night, didn't you? I think I saw you post about it. Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I witnessed. I watched Kobe Bryant do 82 points, which will never touch. Wilt Chamberlain did 100 points in a basketball game once, annihilated the Knickerbockers, just saying. But the fact that somebody scored that many baskets in a game, he never missed. Nobody could stop him. The guy was literally playing on another level. And I don't care what you play, video games, board games, basketball, hockey. That's cool. So shout out Bam Adebayo.
So I actually might have something that we could get you started on as far as role-playing games. Because we're going to have to wait a while for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Because it hasn't even hit. Well, I mean, we'll have to wait some. Monty Python themed role-playing game. I backed it. I kickstarted it a few years ago. I haven't even taken it out of the shrink wrap. This is the Game Master Scream. Technically, it's called Monty Python's Co-Curricular Medieval Reenactment Program. I think this is a good candidate for your return to the TTRPG worlds. We'll have to make that happen. And I'm dying to table it.
I found that other thing while we were at PAX too, the Punk's Not Dead, the big pink covered book that was like a role-playing thing, and that looked amazing as well.
Yes.
So,
and yeah, I've also been dying to like run a Shadow Dart game, or there's also a game that I'm really interested called Eat the Reich.
Okay.
Which is basically I believe it's commando vampires invading Germany and trying to kill Hitler.
You know, you're really trying to make me love RPGs again, aren't you?
It's so easy to love. There's so many good things out here. Yeah, no, it's like that's even before I even get into like the various Borg games, right? Like Pirate Borg or Mork Borg. Mork Borg is essentially Swedish death metal if it were a TTRPG. So,
like the Swedish Chef?
No. Though that would be an amazing crossover. Now that I think about it,
doesn't he go Mork Bork or it's
yeah?
Bork,
Well,
Bork,
I mean, yeah, Borg. Yeah,
right?
Yep.
This is where my mind goes. I'm sorry. I'm
love the Swedish Chef. I think I made that joke when I first heard about it too. So I got to respect the game. but yeah, you know what? Now that we're just talking about games, like there are 2, maybe 3 games that really that have been living in my head since last week. Before we get into them, Sean, what did you, other than Dungeon Crawler Carl, like, did you see anything there that really caught your eye?
So I did, and I feel like a little bit of a homer because I was involved in the project, so full disclosure, but this really cool thing, and honestly, I'll see if we can get one of the guys from Mayfair to come on and talk about this. I found Aviator Snoopy, and, I found it only fitting that he hang out on Ace of Aces, baby.
Nice.
This thing is back in the bookshelf slipcase. I mean, holy smokes. I used to play those as a kid in the terrible little black and white flip books, and to see it in full color, leather bound with all the dice and chips and everything you could ever want in one package. Super freaking cool. So yeah, cool. Huge props out to those guys for making a killer game. And, I was super lucky to be a part of that on the back end there of my last kind of run publishing there at Mr. B. I helped them run that Kickstarter. So I'm a little bit of a homer on that one. But you know what? Like, I can actually say I can be the biggest fan of Mr. B Games because I freaking ran it for 20 years. And I think that's fair, right? Like, if I can't be my own homer, who can't be, right? So
right. Exactly.
And it might sound crazy, but the first time I physically saw a finished copy was at GAMA. So for me, it was exciting. There were a ton of things I saw there. Queen had some really cool stuff. Jay over at Turn the Page had some really exciting stuff he was showing off on his comic book stuff, because he does those comic themed games. I saw a lot of really cool stuff, but, that for me was kind of the highlight, kind of the win, seeing something that was so important to me in my childhood that is like back to life and looking awesome. That was definitely a highlight for sure.
Nice. Okay. All right. So there were 3 games. Well, 2 games at least. I think I had a third one, but I think 2 games really that really stood out to me. One was in the Unpub section. It's a game that hasn't been released yet. And then the other is something that is going to be coming to crowdfunding very soon from Smirk and Dagger.
Nice.
So let me talk about the Unpub one first, because that one, all right. So we had seen this game kind of floating around. The designers had been showing it off here and there. We kind of saw it here and there all over GAMA Expo, and it looked familiar. And it's because they have shown it off for a while now at some other conventions, including like a giant version that they had played on the floor of it. This game is called String Theory, and it looks a little on the gimmicky side. Let me see if I can get.
Man, I love a good gimmick. I'm a sucker.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, we were really, really concerned about this because we were like, oh man, that looks like it might be all gimmick and not, we were concerned. We were concerned.
Sure.
Let me see.
As
Let me
one
see.
does.
Right? Here we go. I will take this I'll try to bring it into the screen here. But we sat down and played it. Like they literally were like, we have to drive back home, and we almost didn't make it to our meeting with them. Let me call this up. Share screen window. Yes, share. Okay.
That's
so
awesome.
Yes, it's called String Theory. Is about you're playing as podcasters, conspiracy theory podcasters, and you are connecting your theories. You're connected because each one of those hexes is a different conspiracy theory. And so you're trying to, you take some cards and you get like little awards if you complete certain theories. You have to connect certain color pegs with your thread, because you have a spool of thread that is basically your presence on the table is on the board, and you're connecting these via thread. And the best part, and they said this is optional, but I think it is literally the juice of the game. You have to come up with like a narrative on how you are connecting and what connects these different conspiracy theories. So, like, just as a for instance, I in my first turn, I connected the pyramids with the lizard people, right? So that one was easy. It's like, clearly, obviously, the lizard people built the pyramids hundreds of years ago, right? Okay. I mean, that should be obvious to anyone who knows anything about anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's water, there's sand, there's
Right.
lizards.
Exactly. So then on my next turn, I connected cryptocurrency to dihydrogen oxide, which of course is water, right? So I was like, okay, what people don't realize about the lizard people is that they're still among us, and in fact, they are trying to influence society by creating a water-based cryptocurrency. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, we just kept on going on like that. We had a riot. Like, it was so much fun. And like, I was even just trying to literally connect all the dots every time I added to my string. I would take it all the way back to the first one. And it was just an utter blast. We're hoping to do some coverage with these guys. Hopefully we'll get some preview coverage when they're ready to take it to crowdfunding. But yeah,
Awesome.
No, this is.
Are they wearing tinfoil hats?
They are wearing tinfoil hats. Absolutely wearing tinfoil hats. Here, I got another picture too. Let me see.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
no. And like I said, they have a giant version of this too. Let me share this other picture.
Well done, gentlemen. Well done.
Right? Well, I was like, you're making conspiracy theories fun again. Like, because they haven't been fun in the last few years, right?
Well,
if for no other reason that they keep on becoming like true. And
Mike, I was saying the other day that like it used to be The Onion was the thing that you went to for satire and funny. And now when they
it's
post
reality,
things, I just go,
news.
Is that just the news, or is it outrageous now? I don't know. So this is great.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely keeping an eye on this. Really, really, really just enjoyed the hell out of it. Like, I was even talking with Ammon Anderson about it afterwards because he saw it too. And he was the first person I thought of when I saw this game. I was like, I bet Ammon loves this game. And like, literally we went, Strings Harry! Like, we just yelled at each other, like, incoherently for like 2 minutes about how much fun we had playing that game.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled on GamingTrend. We are going to aggressively cover this because we think it's so awesome.
Nice. I can't wait. Almost like I can't wait until we get to bring Nick from Renegade on and talk about Dungeon Crawl Carl, because that was cool. But we saw a bunch of other things. But before we talk about the next cool things that Mike checked out, I want to do a throwdown. I got to tell, I pity Nick Mediger if he don't come on this show. Yeah, boy, you need to come on and talk about toys. So Nick bought me this. It's Flavor Flav. So Nick bought me this because, true story, I met him in an airport once. Honest to God, in Salt Lake City Airport. So Nick found these and bought them for us once upon a time. And Nick sells toys in his spare time on whatnot. And I buy lots of toys from him because I'm a grown man child who still likes toys. So I was not doing anything weird here. I just really like Flavor Flav. And I really like my buddy Nick, and I really want to entice him to come on this show. But what other cool games did we talk about now that we've embarrassed Nick?
Don't believe the hype. Oh, sorry. That was my Flavor Flav impression.
My voice just cracked because I'm mic'd on and I'm going through puberty. Did that happen, or did I hallucinate that?
That was clearly an AI hallucination. Clearly.
Oh my God. You went up like 5 octaves on that one, Mike. You're like, hey, so anyway.
Well, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, so yes, there was one other game that's been living in my head ever since. And that is actually, wait. Before I talk about this other game, because you were just talking about toys. Are you familiar with the Four Horsemen? So like back in the 2000s, the Four Horsemen were like this new studio of action figure sculptors who did like new Masters of the Universe, like really high end stuff. And then they started branching out and they've become like a fixture in like the high end action figure market since then. I think they did some work for McFarlane Toys, a lot of work for McFarlane Toys too. They might have even spun off of them, right? So they were at GAMA.
Well, when you asked and given the talk about the Onion, I was like, are we talking real world today, or are we talking?
Did things just get dire and serious? Like,
right? No, was this which Four Horsemen were you referring to? But I'm glad you
know all of them.
I'm glad you clarified the ones that sculpt cool minis and toys. Yes, I have heard of them. Not the Metallica song, but the sculptors. Yes, please continue.
So they are working on a 5th edition role-playing game supplement that, has normal size you can use normal size miniatures, you can use standees, but then you can also use 7-inch action figures. And they have giant maps with the hexes and everything. And I'm like, why hasn't anybody thought of this before? Well, probably because it's like a huge table hog. But holy crap.
Can we do that?
Right? Like, I'm like, I can play D&D with the Four Horsemen figure. And then like, oh wait, I have all kinds of 7-inch scale action figures that like, we could just go nuts, right?
Can I play as Flavor Flav?
I mean, honestly, that is to scale. He's a very short man.
He is.
Yeah.
He has a microphone stand.
Yes. I got the Beastie Boys action figures from the Sabotage video in my Oh, so we're all right. We don't need to have like an action figure measuring contest on this.
And
episode.
Team America. So yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I probably have you beat when it comes to Japanese robots, but
yes, I would give you that one.
Yes.
I will defer to your Japanese robot kung fu.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. We're definitely going to try to get some coverage of that because it looked so damn cool. I might even have a picture. Let me see.
I also think I cross-referenced my A-Team references with my Flavor of Love references because my mid-2000s reality TV show stuff just isn't that strong. So I think I might have said I pity the fool when I had Flavor Flav there earlier, which everybody knows that's not his catchphrase. It's yeah, boy.
Yeah, no, that's Mr. T.
Yeah.
Yeah, pity the fool.
I can't get over I think we have this idea on our mind, and while Mike's looking, I want to share a little something. He doesn't know about this. I've really, it's going to be really scary, but we're going to try it out. Maybe.
I'm here
Let's
for you,
see.
Sean. Should
You're
I go
here
into
for it?
should I go into therapy mode? Into therapist mode?
Maybe.
Tell me
It's
about your mother.
who hurt
No.
you? I need to ask you about this because I saw this on your Facebook feed and I've got questions. Okay. So when I think of the A team, I had made a comment a week ago saying, I pity the fool who doesn't help hire this man. And then all of a sudden I see that this man might be doing a little gaming trend stuff here. So like, I feel like this is another throwdown. We're going to have to rectify this situation.
Yeah, here I'm gonna take over that screen real quick because I got the
real one.
the real image here. Yes, here we go. Yep.
See, so much better. I've known a couple of these people. You've known a couple of these people. And, I just got home from here and I'm looking at this thing 4 hours old and going, hey, we're about to film a new episode of Throwdown. We might as well just ask Mike while we're right here. I'll just sabotage him on the air. This isn't even going to air for a week and none of you'll know anyway. So who cares? Right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, we recently announced publicly that we are bringing in, two professionals. This is a big step for what has been an all volunteer organization. We have had people that have come work for GamingTrend that have gone on to work for places like IGN and Games Radar and like on the PR side of some of the companies that we work with. But this is the first time that we've really brought in someone who is already established media, who is already has a reputation in the industry and in the space for just putting out really, really, really great content. And those two people are Mark Streed and Christian Hoffer. Now, Christian is, and we'll put the link for this down in the doodly doo down below. Stealing a page from Matt Colville on that. I'm just going to call it a whatever, that stuff.
The doodly doo. It's the thing.
Doodles. Yeah.
We just
I will sprinkle goodness down below the video. But Christian I first saw his work on comicbookresources.com, cbr.com. And he was posting what I thought was some of the most coherent, even-keeled coverage about Dungeons and Dragons in a time when everybody was like tripping over themselves, trying to call them out and like disparage them. And to be honest, like they definitely deserve some of that call out, but Christian really kind of brought a level of professionalism to the conversation that I think was sorely lacking elsewhere. And so I met him at GaryCon a couple of years ago, and we've struck up a friendship, and he's actually been posting on the site since about mid-January, primarily focusing on Warhammer and Games Workshop related stuff, kind of filling in some gaps for us. And our hope is to actually give him more paid work that we can and kind of let him stretch his wings a bit. And then, of course, next to him in that picture is probably a familiar face to a lot of you, Mark Streed, who pioneered, and God, he must have made like over 1,000 videos, Kickstarter preview videos over at the Dice Tower.
He probably made 100 for me.
Right.
So, like, geez.
He was the voice of crowdfunding over there, and he's actually coming to help us kind of supercharge our crowdfunding coverage And again, we're hoping that he can spread his wings a little bit and do some stuff that maybe he couldn't do elsewhere. Like I know he's talking about doing a cool retrospective on Atari 2678 cartridges because he's a big fan, and that is something that we would of course love to see on GamingTrend because we love video games. Like Ron and I go way back. It was literally started as a console specific video game site over 23, 24 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Which is funny. When I met Keith Schleicher probably 15 years ago,
right.
he had come to an Origins to branch out to tabletop at the time. And that's how I first started even getting on radar and working with you guys. And he did written reviews for us for years. And
Yeah.
so,
Yep.
I mean, this is huge. Like, so somebody I used almost exclusively with crowdfunding when I was publishing to see that, my God, to see that like he's going to be joining the team. And I know he was doing some freelance work with, was it Above Board? And so that's just super cool. We got to have him on. Like we should have him on, you know?
Yeah. No, let's have him on the next episode.
You know, what's kind of funny, Mike, is, 2 episodes into our groove, and I kind of feel like Throwdown is more like Throwdown. We're calling out people saying, you got to come on the show because we seem to know a lot of people, and you people out there listening, I need some help here in the board game sector. Mike's got all these video game and RPG connections. You don't want me to turn into a guy that I just got to hang out and play RPGs and talk comic books. Come on, fuel me out here. Help me out. Come on, where are my board game people? Where are my awesome, cool people? Like, message us and let's make that happen as quickly as possible.
Totally.
I'm thinking here, y'all, trying to
no. We have so much. We've got a lot planned. It's gonna be really good. And yeah, I agree. Let's have Mark on as soon as we can. Because I know his exclusivity with Dice Tower is about to run out.
Yeah. And whenever that does, we'll get him on here as quickly as possible.
Yep. And I have a feeling it's just going to be like just how it is with you and me, Sean. Like we're going to hang out for an hour and a half and suddenly boom, like we want to talk more. So, it could be multiple episodes for all we know.
Hey, we got a lot of really cool people lined up coming, and that is seismic news. So, I mean, I knew we were coming fresh off the heels of GAMA. I knew we were talking about a lot of games and we had a lot of cool stuff. But, having been somebody that's worked with that guy for many, many years, I had to put a picture up and just go, hey, Mike, what's the meaning of this? Please explain to me the reason behind your posts, because I read this and I'm just like, this is freaking awesome, right? Like what a good, but I'm sure people want to know, like, hey, what's going on? So I feel like we should bring Mark on and talk about what's going on.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it might just end up with me just gushing, like, and embarrassing myself, but like, I'm here for it. Like, if anyone deserves it, it's Mark.
Trust me, don't ever worry about that kind of stuff because I do it all the time, look like an idiot, and you don't care. So you could do it for a little while and look like an idiot, and I promise you I won't care, buddy. I promise you. We'll get through it.
Perfect.
And we're going to have a blast.
It helps that in my old age, I've lost all vestiges of shame. Yeah, like I'm here for it. All right, so we don't have much more time left. Like, see, this is what happens when you do this. It's like, man, we got to keep it. We're trying to keep it to an hour and a half. So let me just touch on a couple of things. One, I do want to show off the other game that lived in my head. And if you're a poker guy and you like games like, I don't know, Cuphead, then you are going to love. And this game just looks gorgeous. I am going to be a top tier backer of this on day one. Hell of a deal. It's a cooperative poker game against the devil, and you gotta cheat like hell. This game is just gorgeous. Like everything about it. I want to play it now. Like this is Let me show you the table here.
When's
But
the next game night?
yeah,
We gotta
right. Well, I mean,
play
I got to get Kurt to send me a copy of this, right? So, but yeah, no, this game looks beautiful. It's like all the bells and whistles that a true poker player would want. It reminds me of like, what is it? Cosmos's The Gang, which is cooperative poker.
That's
Really, it's a really
really
good game. And this one is like that on steroids, but like your Cuphead, basically, because it's got the great like cartoony, old school cartoony style to it. You're and like The Gang was about like breaking in and unlocking a safe. This is literally about you're working together playing poker against the devil, and there are mechanics that allow you to cheat. Don't remember like everything that Kurt told me because I was literally like trying to like pick my jaw off the floor and like contain the drool because I wanted to walk out of that exhibit hall with this in my hands, and I knew it wasn't going to happen. But yeah, we're definitely going to cover this. The Kickstarter is coming soon. I'll put some information on that, but definitely want to give a shout out to that because I can't stop thinking about that.
Man, that looks awesome. Merc and Dagger always make really cool stuff. You can always count on it. And like, that's just exciting to see. And the gang was so good. So like to see
Yes.
something that kind of goes in that same kind of vein, that'd be a fun one. I'd definitely drive down to the Springs and go play that with you.
Well, and it was one of the few like bigger box games that I saw this week. Like I think we mentioned it last episode, but definitely expect a lot of small box, card games. This is just some of what we came back with. This one looks familiar.
Yeah. Koto.
I mean, I've got like 4 more piles of these. Like this is going to be coming up on the site. You're seeing the future of some of the reviews on the site. Now, there was one thing that I believe it was Solus Game Studios. They had made a game that they were just giving out for free. They
Amazing.
literally designed it over lunch or dinner one time. And that game is called it's horrible. I wish my other camera worked. Hot Brown Surprise.
I love it already.
Right. So Hot Brown Surprise. If you don't know what a Kentucky Hot Brown is, it is a sandwich.
It is.
I've only eaten it once. Sean, tell us about the Kentucky Hot.
The Kentucky Hot Brown can be made several ways, Michael. You can go with rye, sourdough, wheat, or white bread. Traditionally, it's white bread toasted, thrown down on a plate, and a little bit of turkey. Some people mix a little bit of ham in there, and then smothered in the just most deliciousest brown gravy you could ever hope for with a little bit of mashed potatoes. That's the way I've had it the several times I've hung out in Litchfield, Kentucky, or Corbin, Kentucky, or Louisville, depending on where you come from. And I had to try it out. I've tried it a couple of times because it's my namesake, right? You can't have a hot brown without having a hot brown, huh? I am 100% on board with this game.
All right. Well, it looks like I got my camera to work, but it's upside down.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can fix that.
I find joy because I am usually the technically.
No, now it's not working. All right. So that is clearly something I need to work on before our next episode. All right. Yeah. So I wanted to show this off. I'm going to open up a pack because they gave us several packs.
That's amazing. Show me what's in a Hot Brown Surprise.
So Hot Brown Surprise, Louisville's premier sandwich card game. It comes with 11 playing cards. Buy 2 to play 4-player. And there are 2 surprise ingredient cards in every pack. Okay. Oh, hey. We got a card that's the lore, the origins of the Hot Brown. Got some instructions and a reference card, and then ingredients. So we got a tomato, we got Mornay sauce, a bunch of Mornay sauce, some light turkey, bacon, of course, a couple more bacons, dark turkey,
dark meat, can't go wrong.
Toast, gotta have toast.
Gotta have the toast.
Candied bacon. Ooh, and pimento. That must be the special ingredient. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a fun little card game. This reminds me of something that would be like a button shy game, right? Like they have a very strict like, oh yeah, no, it is a surprise. The candied bacon and pimentos are the surprise ingredients. So
Kind of reminds me of that really weird game from Korea Board Games that we looked at last year at your Extra Life. Do you remember it, where the cards were like little spatulas and we were doing stir fry?
Yeah, that was a great game. What
a fun game.
Did I ever give that back to you? I think you loaned it to me, and I think I still
you
have
never
it.
gave it back to me because I was like, I haven't played that thing in forever.
I am so sorry. I need to find it.
Never loan board games. Never loan board games to your friends. Just don't do it.
You know, it's the sad thing is that I haven't played it since then. So that's like, it's really, really, really horrible of me. So yeah,
super fun.
Hot Brown Surprise. You're basically making a sandwich. It's a sandwich making game with cards. Looks fun. I actually have several packs of that, and maybe we'll do a giveaway at some point.
I love giveies, especially of a Hot Brown Surprise.
Yeah,
register, like, and follow. You might get a Hot Brown Surprise too.
Yeah. So this is a good time actually to really quick say yes. You know, if you like this podcast, definitely like and subscribe. We do. I said do. I am a child. I'm going to just stop that. Anyway.
Don't ever give it a like.
We offer an audio version as well. So like all the fun stuff that we showed off, if you listen to the audio version, you don't get to see it. So, you know, you can always watch it and listen to it. Like you can maybe even sync them up and like do some weird like stereo surround sound thing in your house. Please don't do that. That actually would be horrible.
Oh my God. Do you imagine?
You would be surrounded by our voices and like I don't even think our wives would want that to happen, right?
No, not at all, right? No,
definitely go to gamingtrend.com and sign up for our newsletter. We have a weekly roundup newsletter and where we talk about special topics and talk about some of the hot news items and reviews that we posted in the previous week. And also trying to kind of put the spotlight on other creators out there that are friends of ours that we think are producing great stuff, and you should go check them out too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and before we wrap up, I'd like to give a special little shout out because something first time has ever happened to me in my career in this entire industry. A very, very generously kind man named Richard over at Ultra Pro actually took one of my prototypes. This is wild for me because I've published my own games forever, but I've, you know, if I designed things or developed things or was working with people, whatever, it didn't matter, right? It was always going to go under Mr. B. But I haven't had my publishing company for almost a year, and I had a bunch of designs in my trunk over here, which is hard to see. And I was just kind of going through them, and I had a notebook or whatever, and him and I were talking at PAX, and he said he was looking for a specific game, and I was like, God, I feel like I had a prototype or we were developing that 4 years ago, and I went, sure enough, found one. I'd never pitched a game to a publisher. I'm usually getting pitched myself. And so I would really like to go to Unpub and learn how to pitch because I was terrible. I fumbled all over myself. I was an idiot, and he was patient, totally understanding, a total pro, unlike me. And, you know, took a look and actually said, I want to take that. We want to take a serious look at it. And I was like, man, I love this industry, you know?
So wait, you might sign a game, dude?
Who knew, right? And I'm just like, how cool is this, right? Like, it wasn't even on the agenda. I literally was going over there to look at something they were coming out with that, you know, we might be able to talk about on Throwdown. And before I knew it, I'm showing him this thing. And for all of you prototypers at home, I'm going to leave you with this nugget because I finally understand it. It is the most satisfying and terrifying moment in your entire life when somebody says, I'd like to take that. And you go, oh my God, yes. And you hand it to him. And then as you hand it to him, you go, shit, I don't have the rules written down and that's my only prototype. So think about that next time and make sure to take pictures of your prototypes and write your rules down, kids, because don't give away your only copy. You know, what if he never gives it back to me?
Yeah. Like what if like the next time you see him, he's like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. Or right. He just forget, or he goes, hey, I lost that, you know, in TSA pre-check or some Right. And then I can't replace it because I made it as a 101 and I'm a dummy. But I learned a really important lesson at GAMA. So if you went to a seminar at GAMA, maybe you would learn lessons and not do stupid crap like falling in pits. So next time, come hang out with me and Mike and you'll learn about all these things not to do like a dumbass.
So let me get this straight. You're not going to be satisfied until you do everything in this industry, are you? You've been a publisher. You demo games at conventions. You've run a convention. I mean, unless you spin up your own manufacturing company or distribution company, which you've probably done, and I don't even know. Like, what's left? Like, you're in it because now you're media, and now you're a game you're a game designer. You're going to get your own game published. You're going to get your own credit.
If you would have told me towards the end of 2025, I wouldn't be publishing games anymore, but in 2026, I would still be involved talking about them, happier than I've ever been, and designing them, and on a podcast with one of the longest standing game media outlets, I would have told you were freaking lying, but you're not. And I'm just happy to be here. So super lucky that I get to try all these things and figure out what I want to be when I grow up. So, hey,
Awesome.
Maybe it'll be a podcaster. Maybe it'll be a game designer. I'm happy about 20 years of publishing, honestly. And who knows, maybe in a couple of years, maybe I'll get the itch and dive back. But, man, that was a rough batch. But I'm glad for all my friends that made it. And I'm glad for all the people that are going to keep making games. And I'm glad for organizations like GAMA and people like Mike and GamingTrend who actually give a crap about us and put on really cool educational seminars and help people prevent these pits. Because I'm telling you guys, 22 years ago, I mean, crowdfunding is only 15 years old.
Right.
And it's changed so much. And, anymore, it's so hard to even get noticed on crowdfunding or any of those things. So to see the industry change the way it did and to be able to pass on some knowledge about pits to watch out for, it's a really big deal. And next time you see these guys running something at a show, please sign up for their seminars and save yourself a lot of heartache and pain and dollars and time and stress. But just listening to somebody else who's already been through it and already tried your idea and failed, not saying your idea will fail, but learn from failure. It's the best teacher you could ever have.
Thanks, Sean. I think I can think of no better way to end this episode. It's I think last week was really kind of proof positive of what we're doing here at GamingTrend, what you're doing with all of your various post publishing ventures. It was really kind of like the first time, like both of us were able to kind of get a lot of kind of feedback and validation for like all the things that we've been cooking up for the last few weeks.
Months.
Yeah, months, weeks. Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, on that note, I implore you, do not miss our next episode. Our next episode is going to be a banger, as the kids say.
Totally.
Honestly, like, I pretty much think all of the episodes going forward are going to be like must-see TV, as we used to say in the 80s.
It's all downhill from here, kids.
Yeah. Sean and I will continue to hopefully not annoy you so much that you turn away. No guarantees. But yeah, definitely check it out. All kinds of great stuff happening. We will see you in 2 weeks? A week? I don't know. We'll find out.
And that's one to grow on.